Tonight on Legislative Review. From farm to table, a bill that would bring fresh produce to underserved communities. Plus, the House approves a Senate bill concerning sexual assault in college campuses. And the Senate debates the controversial House bill to keep other states' National Guard troops out of Washington state. You're watching Legislative Review. Thank you for watching Legislative Review. I'm Angela Nolasco with today's top discussions in the state legislature. Imagine a farmer's market, but instead of going to it, it comes to you. That's the fresh idea behind a Senate bill debated on the House floor Thursday morning, bringing produce directly to families in need on wheels. If passed, Senate Bill 5214 would benefit seniors and low-income families in rural and underserved areas that have limited access to fresh fruits and vegetables. The bill does this through a new mobile market program, which the Senate approved with overwhelming bipartisan support. It would direct the Department of Health to work with nonprofit organizations in operating what's called mobile markets, vans, trucks, or trailers filled with locally grown produce that accept federal benefits for children, pregnant women, and low-income seniors such as WIC and the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. These benefits only usually work at traditional farmers markets, but the bill could change that. However, it would still need the federal government's green light. The bill would also ensure mobile markets don't compete with existing farmers markets, instead filling in the gaps where there are none. Supporters say it's a big step toward improving nutrition access and reducing food insecurity across Washington. Speaking in favor of the bill, Democratic Representative Adam Birnbaum.
There are senior citizens and people who have challenges with mobility that are struggling to afford nutritious meals. What this bill does is make small changes that allow us, that makes it simpler for mobile markets to aggregate food from local farmers and bring that food to the locations where, in particular in rural communities, low-income seniors, people who are having a hard time affording food, in particular nutritious food, live.
A point which Republican Representative Carolyn Eslick agreed with.
This is a really important bill. I think that anytime we can get good, nutritious food out to our folks in the rural areas, the better off we're going to be, because we know that fresh fruits and vegetables are really the most important part for keeping diseases and good health close to making sure that our families are healthy and be able to serve our communities.
The House voted on the bill.
Does any member wish to change their vote? The Speaker has locked the roll call machine. The Speaker has locked the roll call machine. Clerk will take the record.
Mr. Speaker, there are 94 yeas, 1 nay, 3 excused.
Having received a constitutional majority, substitute Senate Bill 5214 is declared passed.
The bill would need the governor's signature to become law. If enacted, it would officially take effect in March of 2026. The House went on to discuss Senate Bill 5355, which concerns sexual assault in college campuses and improving the safety of students and victims, a bill we previously covered on the show earlier this session. Senate Bill 5355 would require public colleges and universities to offer more support for survivors of sexual assault, such as trauma-informed training for staff, mental health services, and the right for survivors to request safety measures like campus security and class schedule changes. It also aims to speed up investigations for sexual misconduct cases, capping it at 6 months, and bans the use of non-disclosure agreements that keep survivors from speaking out. If passed, schools would be required to provide in-person training for students and staff on sexual violence prevention. And in 2027, every student ID would include a 24/7 sexual assault hotline for survivors. Supporters say it would educate students about consent, make campuses safer, reduce the chances for survivors to develop PTSD, and give them more rights and protections. The bill passed unanimously in the Senate last month. On Thursday's floor debate, Democratic Representative Dave Paul spoke to support it.
It takes a pretty common sense approach to get more information about resources available that's actually going to be physically on contact cards so that students and staff and faculty can have that. It also forbids the harmful practice of requiring students who are involved in these proceedings to have to sign non-disclosure agreements, something we don't want our students to have to do.
Also speaking in favor of the bill, Republican Representative Alex Ibarra.
This is a good bill. It's going to be safe for our students. We want all our students to be safe.
The House took a floor vote.
Clerk will take the record.
Madam Speaker, there are 95 yeas, 1 nay, 2 excused.
Having received a constitutional majority, engrossed second substitute Senate Bill 5355 is declared passed.
Having gained approval in both chambers, the bill now heads to the governor's desk for signature. The debate over a controversial bill concerning the deployment of outside militia in Washington state has found its way to the Senate floor Thursday. House Bill 1321, which sparked a heated discussion in the House last month before passing on a 58-37 vote, seeks to limit external military forces, like other states' National Guard troops, from entering Washington state without permission from the governor or direct federal authority of the president. The bill is a response to a joint statement released by 26 Republican governors back in December about President Donald Trump's deportation policies, saying they were, quote, ready to utilize every tool at their disposal, whether through law enforcement or the National Guard, end quote. For some, the bill is about maintaining state autonomy, ensuring that Washington state remains in control of its own affairs, without other states' forces interfering with Washington's policies, in light of political shifts. While opponents argue that it could restrict the deportation of dangerous criminals and disaster relief efforts.
He just got tased and he's down on the ground.
Speaking in favor of the bill, Democratic Senator Javier Valdez.
Actually just makes it very clear we'll be joining other states that make it very clear that other states cannot send their National Guard into our state with either permission from our governor, whoever that may be at the time, or of course if they are actually troops that are federalized.
Expressing his opposition, Republican Senator Jeff Wilson.
There's no reason for this bill because I believe that federal law already preempts this. In other words, another governor is not going to send in their National Guard to another state. And for that second reason, history's proven this. This has never happened before, Mr. President. Only once in a civil war. I certainly am not predicting any civil wars, wouldn't want it, but I'm quite certain that the powers of the federal government have already protected this.
The Senate voted on the bill.
Mr. President, there are 30 aye, 19 nay.
Having received a constitutional majority, substitute House Bill 1321 is declared passed. The title of the bill will be the title of the act.
The bill now heads to the governor's desk. It includes an emergency clause, meaning it would take effect immediately once signed into law. That's it for this episode of Legislative Review. Make sure to join us nightly at 8 and 11 for your highlights on the state legislature. And follow us on social media. Have a good night.